Dear friends, as we read this gospel in the Gospel of Matthew, Gospel of John gives us 7 statements of Jesus, which are called I am statements. Jesus declares himself, I am the light, I am the way, I am the truth. And when Jesus says, I am the light in the Gospel of John, he tells us that he is God. When he says, I am the truth, he tells us that he is God. Again, when he says, the kingdom of God is at hand here in the Gospel of Matthew, what Jesus tells us is, I am the kingdom of light. And here Jesus invites us to come and be citizens of this kingdom of light. To do that, we need to accept the truth. Truth is Jesus. Now, we can read these kind of gospels, dear friends, and just leave out most of it and just get the message, Jesus is the light, and that's fine. But here this quotation, Matthew quotes, most of the time he quotes the Old Testament. Here Matthew quotes Isaiah. That's very important here, because it explains the purpose of the coming of Jesus to this world and who he is. And that's enough for anyone to believe in him as God and as the life and as salvation. Dear friends, first of all, we need to know what this area is called Zebulun and Naphtali. Jesus left Nazareth and went to live in Capernaum. Now, Capernaum is in Naphtali. So like our districts, Colombo, Gampaha, Putlam, and Kaltura districts like. There were 12 districts, let's say, or provinces, according to the 12 tribes of Israel. You know, there were 12 sons. Israel or Jacob had 12 sons. And the 6th and 7th sons are Zebulun and Naphtali. Now, we need to get back to the 7th centuries before Jesus. Syria invaded the land, Holy Land, this land of Canaanites, or the land that it was 12 tribes were living. Before that, about 400 years before, this land was divided into 2. The lower part, or the southern part, was called Judea. The upper part was called Israel. The lower part was only consist of 2 tribes, Judah and Benjamin. The 10 of the others were the rest on the top, or the north, they were called Israel. Syria invaded only Israel, apart from those 2 tribes. This is the area. Judea is the area where you have Bethlehem, Jerusalem, and the southern part. Now, when Syria invaded Israel, the 10 tribes, they took them or deported them to Syria, and they lived there for many years, and intermarriages happened. Some of them accepted those intermarriages and got mixed with other nations. And they were called Samaritans. They were looked down and frowned upon, and they were kept aside. But there were some others also, apart from this land of Samaria, who were also a little bit mixed, but tried to keep the traditions, follow the Jewish laws. Still, they were not considered pure Israelites. They lived in Zebulun and Naphtali. The people who lived in the down south, the tribes of Benjamin and Judah, or who lived in Judea, considered Samaritans are out. They have no salvation. They disregarded God's law, so they are out. But the Zebulun and Naphtali, they are mixed, but still they are struggling to come back. Therefore, they might have a chance for salvation because they still live in the Jewish tradition. However, whole of Galilee was of second class, if Judea is the first class. That's why the prophet Isaiah says, land of Zebulun and land of Naphtali, the way to the sea beyond the Jordan, Galilee of Gentiles. Galilee is not of Gentiles, but Galilee had some Gentiles in these two lands. Now, Jesus, the pure one, the light, the truth, the salvation, Messiah, comes and lives. He leaves his hometown. Though he grew up in Nazareth, he had to come there for some reasons. Otherwise, his hometown was Bethlehem. We know that. He was born there. His father's house, Joseph's hometown, is Bethlehem. Mary's hometown is Jerusalem. Still, he grew up in Nazareth. Nazareth is fine. But Nazareth, he left Nazareth and came to live in Capernaum. Now, Capernaum is a place that has darkness. According to Isaiah, dwelling in a land overshadowed by death, light has arisen. Here Jesus comes to give that light. The purpose of Messiah is very clear. He himself says later in the gospel, we find Jesus declaring that he came not for the virtuous, but for sinners. When he was confronted why he was dining with the sinners. And he clearly said, the need of a doctor is for the sick, not for the healthy. And again, dear friends, Jesus wanted always sinners to come to him, and he never accused them. He went there in search of sinners to save them. We have a great hope here. We know we have some kind of darkness in our lives as well. We are sinners. Sinfulness is always darkness, definitely. But we need to know exactly whether we live in darkness or light. We are also like people who live in Zebulun and Naphtali. We struggle. We are not perfectly pure. We are not saints. We are sinful. Still, we want to believe in Jesus. And here, Jesus invites us to know our limitations and go beyond them. And Jesus comes to live with us. His Capernaum today is our lives, our church. Unfortunately, we don't realize it, how beautiful to live in the light. We don't regard this light as a value most of the time. Rather, we want darkness in our life in some way. A little bit of darkness is also fun, you know. And that has drawn us away from Jesus, the light and the truth, or we are taken away from the kingdom to the kingdom of darkness. This is the trick of the evil one, prince of darkness. How do you know if you are really caught to his trap, or whether live in the kingdom of darkness? Number one, know about it is, just evaluate your own life and see if you have any division in your family, in your associations, in your relationships. If you have divisions, separations, there's darkness. Clear darkness. You are in darkness. You need the light immediately. Next sign is fear. Are you living in fear? Some kind of fear. If you are in the kingdom of light, you should not be afraid. Now you can walk around anywhere you can see there's light. Sun is risen and you can see. You're not scared. But in the night, when there's darkness, children are scared. Even some ladies, some adults would not go out because they are scared. The fear factor is there. Darkness brings fear. Darkness separates, divides. Therefore, if you can analyze and see in your life if there's division and fear, of course, sinfulness is darkness. Immediately, we need to focus ourselves towards Jesus, the light. He comes to live in us. We just disregard him. He's in us. And let's accept him, embrace him, and take this light into our lives, which gives us hope, which gives us life. And dear friends, Jesus invites us to be the light of the world. He says, you are the light, you are the salt, and you are supposed to be kept on a lampstand, not under a tub. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about this, how to be a light to the world. If you receive the light of Jesus, you will shine. From your actions, from your words, from who you are, people would know immediately you're a person who has the light. It's effortless. Just like the moon receives the light from the sun and reflects it to this world, to us. And the night, when there's darkness, moon is such a wonderful pleasure to have. You can be the moon. Jesus is the sun, the light. You receive that light from Jesus, and you start shining, and you become the light to the world. It reflects all around. So therefore, dear friends, unconscious mind is the playground of the evil one. Be conscious. That's enough. Be conscious of your darkness. Don't just walk in darkness. Be conscious and accept, of course, evil one has tricked me. We have a division. I need to sort it out. We have fear. I need to get out of it. That's the first step. Then you will see, you will receive the light, and you will be the light to the world. Amen.